Welcome to the Go Big Redcast, the Husker Fan Sports Show.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast. I'm your host, David Gaspers, and I'm with Boomer.
Well, I'm just glad to be here, Dave, because after 4 years of just kind of tagging you, we're actually able to tackle real issues here on the Redcast. So
That's right. It's all about tackling. We're not just tapping or anything like that. I'm also with Redcast Rob.
I'm sorry, Dave. Could you repeat the question that you just asked? Because I don't listen to those things, and I'd really like to know exactly what it is you said. Because I'm gonna just have to work with you guys on that and make sure that that's not exactly how you're handling those interviews.
Rob, you always befuddle me, and it's probably because I didn't listen to the press conference yet today. I didn't hear some chatter about it, but Mickey had a press conference, and are you alluding to that?
I am. So, one of the things that the media seems to be doing a lot of right now, and I don't even really want to get into this, but there are certain guys in the media where it seems like they keep trying to ask Mickey questions to trip him up in his press conference, and I don't know if it's to embarrass him or if they just think that this has just become more of a joke than it is, like on the surface or whatever it is. But one of the players over the weekend said something alluding to the fact that they weren't tackling in practice the last 4 years.
Miles Farmer,
thank you. And Mickey basically came out and said, "Look, I don't listen to any of that crap. Like, I got so much more going on right now. I don't know what these players are saying, but if that's what they're saying, then I need to go back and talk to them about how to handle these pressers better and make sure that they're not saying things like this." And that's true, and I mean, not to try to like the woe is me attitude that I'm just not trying to put, but Mickey has so much on his plate right now, right? Like all of a sudden, like he's the head coach of this team. And there is a lot that he is taking on just out of the blue because of just the way this whole situation has gone down in the beginning of the season. It's a lot. And so, yeah, he's going to have to address things like that with the players. What bothers me the most about it is just how it feels in a lot of ways, how that the media is just trying to pile on. And that just bothers me because it's classless.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess I don't know if I guess I didn't listen to the interview, so I or the presser. I mean, I did hear the Miles Farmer,
and that's just.
I think Mickey's done really good job with these pressers. I mean, and I've never been a big fan of the press conferences because if they go as planned, they don't really tell you a whole lot. It's only when they don't go as planned that it makes the headlines. And so.
And this wasn't even a headline really, because you're right. Mickey's been handling it about as good as you can possibly handle it. I've been loving the press conferences this year for whatever reason. I don't know why in reality,
you're a sick and demented person, Rob.
I am. I've been going out of my way to watch and listen to every single one this year, like live, real time. And yeah, he's been handling great. And the best part about it is when Sam McEwen asked him that question, he kind of threw it right back at him and was like, "I don't know, Sam, why don't you tell me what he said again?" Kind of like, oh, you want to ask me a question?
I mean, I think it's a legitimate question by Sam. I mean, and it's a legitimate answer by Mickey. I think from what you're describing to me, it's a totally fair exchange. I mean, it's fair to ask, what do you think about it? Your players are saying that you haven't been tackling in practice for 4 years. And Mickey's saying, hey, it sounds like he's probably saying, hey, that's not really completely the truth. And I need to get those guys to be better prepared for going up in front of the mic, what Miles Farmer was saying probably was emotional to some degree at the end of the Oklahoma game. That's always a tough situation to have those type of, questions to players who just were out there for 3 to 4 hours, giving it their all. So, it is what it is. I'm not going to make a big deal about it.
I just feel like there's so many better football questions they can be asking that don't sound so snarky, I guess is the best way to put it. Like there are like legitimate questions you could be asking this guy about like his plan moving forward with this football team. Right. And instead they're trying to like talk to him about things that happened in the past. And while I get it, and there's kind of like this culture that's kind of developed with Nebraska, and our media is a lot different than a lot of other media around the country. I guess at this point right now, it's just I just want to move on, man. I just we got 8 games left this year, 9 games left this year because we're still going to make a bowl, and it's like in Indiana in 2 weeks. We got the Huskers playing the Huskers this week. That's what Mickey said.
Yeah, Well, I mean, the media.
Our stop sign is the Huskers right now, and after that, our stop sign is Indiana.
So, Boomer, I mean, I guess I hear Rob, and I get it, Rob. I fan differently than you. I don't. And that's fair. That's all right. It's okay that we're different fans. It's not a big deal. But Boomer, I mean, the Oklahoma game obviously was a pretty disappointing outcome. It was a fun start. That was awesome. We got off the field defensively. Offense came out and dropped 7. Nice pass from Casey Thompson to Trey Palmer. But they couldn't really replicate that for the next 12 drives. And ultimately Oklahoma definitely answered back emphatically, and I think it was at 35-7.5, and ultimately won 49-14. Your thoughts on the game?
You had it pegged right, Dave. It was fun for about a half quarter, and then you could see it slipping away, and then it just went off the rails there in that second quarter. There was no coming back from it, and It brought a lot of reality to this season. It's just how far behind they are in certain aspects. Just, we'd had questions about the defense, and man, they certainly, struggled in this game, just like they did the last couple of weeks, and it brought it to full bear here. I think it brought a lot of the issues on the O-line, to complete fruition. We knew there were problems, and, when Prohaska goes down and you got to shuffle people around again, and you're already shorthanded on that line, it exposed that there's a lot of issues there that have to be fixed going forward with all Power 5 opponents, coming up here. There's no more Georgia Southerns or North Dakotas to play. So there was a lot of that. And, it raised some other questions I've had all season. One is why do we always look so good on opening drives? And then it just completely evaporates.
Yeah. That's a great
I don't understand why that is. Just script a whole game, maybe. I don't know. But yeah,
that's actually gone from OC to OC, right? Scott Frost is very good at it. Whipple apparently is very good at it.
And there's just something about that first drive that works great, and then something goes off the rails. I don't know what it was. Even the second drive wasn't terrible in the game. They had a chance to convert that third down. The pass was kind of their receiver just about out of place. There were things there that could have been done, but I don't know if they could have kept up with Oklahoma, regardless of what they did. Just a lot of deficiencies there. And I know one of the things that, Mickey mentioned in the press conference is he kind of wished he would have, flipped the offensive script a bit and instead tried to play ball control. We mentioned that in our text thread when we were watching the game, that maybe we were
sure did.
Trying to go too fast.
We're not alone.
And, I don't know if that would have ultimately won the game. Oklahoma would have kept their starters in longer, but, may have cut down on their possessions. And it doesn't do any good if your offense is going 3 and out anyway. If you're not getting first downs, you can't limit a whole lot of possessions.
That's a good point.
So we weren't getting a run game established. That was not there, in the first half against their starters for whatever reason. We just, Anthony Grant never quite got going, and it was just hard all around for that team. So I don't know if any change in the offensive strategy would have helped ultimately, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious on that because, I mean, to your point, I mean, they didn't really convert enough third downs to actually play a slow game. But it is interesting that, I mean, he admitted that just in the sense that they clearly they played a slow game last year, very intentionally. They limited the amount of possessions Oklahoma had last year. Sean Beckton's still on the staff. He could have clearly told Mickey, hey, I mean, this worked last year. Do you want to try to do it again? But, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe they felt like with, the coaching change and just trying to capture that energy, it'd be best just to let it fly and see where it went. But it wasn't meant to be. But you know what? They've got 2 weeks to try to rebuild here. Before we go to sponsors, which Rob, I'll let you read here in just a second, just really one more thing, and then we're going to turn it forward and be more positive is obviously, we learned that Eric Chenander has also been relieved of his duties. Scott and him kind of tied at the hip a little bit. And Chin's, honestly, everybody says that he's a really good guy and, good to work with. And, is honest and communicative to the press corps and all that type of stuff. They all respected the guy. Ultimately had built a defense that got better over the 4 years. Maybe some of that's because the players were super seniors and really knew what the system was, but they're not giving up 500 yards of offense over the first, on average over the first 4 games. So, Rob, I mean, any thoughts on that? Is that going to make a difference, you think, going forward against Indiana?
I mean, I don't know. How are they going to change up the scheme? Are they going to switch to a 3-man front?
Hard to
are
do.
They going to start playing? Yeah, it is going to be hard because they need the guys, right? Like they need the dudes in there, and the dudes they brought in are for something different. But I would say that it would be interesting to see what kind of scheme they come in. When Mickey was asked about that today, he basically just said, look, I'm not going to talk a lot about that because, it's something new we're going to be introducing. And so if I start talking about it with you, then, it's just not something I'm prepared to do right now with the media. So basically he was saying look, what you're going to see against Indiana is not going to be what you've seen against, the other 4 games that we've played. So that will be interesting. I don't know how he's going to do it. Are they going to maybe come up with some more blitz packages? I mean, it would be nice to see him be able to defend a bubble screen here and there. I mean, it's stop the run game. What are they going to do? He did mention that he kind of wishes and that they got a lot more of the younger kids in there to see what they bring, because he feels like maybe one of the things that they need to do and talking, and I'm going to say going back to old school Nebraska football, and something Tom Osborne told us was that one of the reasons they were so successful and so tough was because there was constantly competition among the walk-ons and the other kids and the guys that nobody thought were going to be starters, and the way that they played, because everyone believed they could be a starter on those teams. Right. And right now it feels like there's a lot of guys who are like, oh, here's your starters. These are the guys that are going to be playing. Let's see how they do.
I mean, we've had a fair amount of walk-ons contrip.
I don't disagree, but I'm saying it doesn't feel like. I mean, Mickey kind of alluded to that in the
let's find out.
Let's find out. I mean, everything I'm saying is more of kind of like a giant question, right? That's.
Oh, so you don't know this? Oh, I
don't know yet,
Rob.
Dave.
You're just hypothetically speaking.
I could tell you some of my inside information, but then I'd be revealing my sources, and
no, that's all right. Yeah. So, so Boomer, really quick, Bill Bush, who was our special teams coordinator, is now our defensive coordinator, which is actually somewhat concerning because special teams is ranked 130th, and we really are hoping to see more of that. And the punter has been really good, and we haven't really seen the place kicker do a whole lot, and return game still stinks. But Bush has been a defensive coordinator elsewhere and has obviously worked with Mickey before. So maybe he brings in to Rob's point, some different blitz packages, et cetera. Maybe the question I'll ask you before we get to our promos is it seems like they're not good right now on pass defense or run defense. It seems like entering into Big Ten play, you're going to need to choose one or the other, right? So it seems like if they have a change.
No, you're right. Although Mickey did say when asked what kind of defense he wants today in the presser, he said he wants one that's good against the pass and against the run. So, I mean, there's your answer right there. But, at this point, I don't know. I don't know what, huge fundamental changes you can make. I mean, you're not going to totally re-scheme the defense. Even with this bye week, like Mickey said in his press conference, they practice today. They're going to lift weights, I think, on Thursday. They get Friday and Saturday off. They'll be back for their little walkout on Sunday, and then, they'll have Monday off again. So there's not a whole ton of practices, and the coaches are going to be at recruiting, I think, this week too, he said. So there's not going to be a ton of time to get loads of fundamental changes made in there, but you may be right at this stage in the game, Dave, that you just try to commit to stopping one or the other, based on whatever team you're playing, and just go against whatever they do well and hoping, dare them to try to beat you otherwise. Indiana, I don't know exactly, but Purdue doesn't run the ball, so just go all out and try to defend the pass and see what the heck happens. Rutgers, I don't know. They're
the X factor. The X factor for Rutgers is that I'm going to be at that game. So let's see what
dear
happens.
Lord, that could be trouble. But so well, and some of it with defense is just get people lined up, in the right slots. That'll help. Just little things like that, just getting people in position. You hate to be saying that that's still an issue, quarter of the way into your season, but it has
Yeah.
been, and that's something that needs to be fixed. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe they can get a few tweaks, just try to get a few people in better positions, stop a few extra plays, and try to build on that. But yeah, it's going to be hard to see a huge fundamental shift, even with a bye week at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. All right, Rob. Let's talk about our sponsors and then dive into scarlet colored glasses.
Yeah, absolutely. First, I'd like to remind all of our listeners that Hail Varsity, you can go to hailvarsity.com and put in the promo code REDCAST under hailvarsity.com/subscribe to receive a $10 discount on your first year subscription. Also, Alumni Hall, they have 2 Lincoln locations in downtown on P Street and in South Point Pavilions at 2910 Pine Lake Road. You can also go to www.alumnihall.com/Nebraska-Cornhuskers, and you can pick up all of your licensed Nebraska paraphernalia from them, as well as one of these cool Hawaiian shirts that you see me wearing there. Also, FSC Edge. Are you looking for a new job? Are you looking for a company that's a rapidly growing environment with competitive, stable history of over 20 years? You can check out their available jobs today at www.jobs@fsc.com. Next, this is my favorite. Go out and reach out to Shane and Laura at Smack and Smooch for all of your custom Redcast gear, as well as if you are looking for anything for your company picnic, your family reunion. Hell, if you're just come up with a good idea for a really cool Husker shirt that doesn't break any of their licensing agreements, go and bring the idea to them and they will make those shirts for you. In fact, I'm wearing my Redcast shirt tonight as well as my Redcast hat because I love Shane. He's a great guy and he does a lot of good things for us. So, make sure that you check that out. You can also see here their War Daddy Up t-shirts is my favorite. I wear it all the time to the gym. And let me tell you, man, the ladies come running. So it's absolutely fantastic. And Dave, do you want to tell us a little bit about our with the bet thing, the Yahoo Pick'em? Do you want to talk about that?
Well, sorry. Yeah.
That's all right.
We are now closed for registration, generally speaking, because we are now into week 3 of 4 of the season. So you no longer can join the Go Big Redcast bets and be competitive to win unless you think you can handle a handicap. So, hey, if you're a scratch golfer, I guess maybe you should join us still at the Yahoo Fantasy College Football Pick'em.
So where are you at currently in that?
5209. I'm not too concerned about it. I had a great week of bets, so I think I went 8-3 this week in my bets. So I don't know. Where am I?
I'm 21-14 overall. I don't even know your team's name, quite frankly. So
I'm probably, I don't know. Am I not Redcast Dave?
Oh, you are Redcast Dave, and you are in 20th of 38th, and Skip is tied with you. You're both 20-11. I'm actually in 14th place right now, so I'm beating both of you. I'm 21-14, so I don't really know how that works exactly. So I'm at 60% correct, and I think you guys are closer to it says 65%.
It's complicated.
I don't really understand that average points, and they eliminate 2 of the weeks, and yeah.
Yeah, we're not good at math here in the Redcast, except for Boomer.
No, we didn't bring you on for your math skills, Rob. Yeah.
I should bring my 6-year-old down. She was teaching all of her class math today, so
they do eliminate the 2 weeks, so it is a little bit complicated. Trust me, they're scoring it correctly. I
believe
but anyway,
of course they are, because I'm winning. I'm beating you guys at least.
You're 14th, Rob. I wouldn't get too excited about that. As you know, we are one short of the Redcast right now. Honky is taking a little rest and recovery time. He's taken the last few weeks kind of hard. He was at the Oklahoma game with Mac, and I'm sure that was always just a recipe for success when they're down 35-7. I was with them. Well, Boomer, you were too, and we were down at Norman. And we were down by a similar score in the first quarter versus Oklahoma way back in 2008. So hopefully he is on his way back, and maybe he'll join us in at least by the Indiana week. We'll see. But for now, let's jump in and put some scarlet-colored glasses on, right, Rob? And talk all things Husker football. We're not just drinking Kool-Aid. We're put the glasses on. And we want to have a little fun here and talk about a future Nebraska head football coach. And there's been some gamification of this going on local radio and I'm sure on Twitter, polls, all that type of stuff. But we came up with our own idea. I don't think anybody else is doing this. But we are going to have a Go Big Redcast Fantasy Husker Football Coach Draft tonight. You guys ready?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, Rob, come on.
I've never been so excited in my entire life. I mean, I quit fantasy football altogether. And so here I am drafting coaches.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
no, I'm excited. I really am. You
didn't quit the podcast, Rob.
Hopefully, it'll give Tyler O'Connor in our comments something positive to say. Because I'm reading through some of the comments here. My Lord, Tyler, step off the edge and just have some positivity in your life, buddy. Jeez.
So Boomer, I haven't really fully thought this through.
Well, that's the mantra of the podcast, Dave. I mean,
that's you guys let me on the podcast. I mean, that's enough, Dave.
Yeah,
you definitely didn't think it through. Yeah,
it's a good point, Rob.
Yeah.
I got outvoted. What can I say?
I actually believe that.
No, it's not true. So the idea here is we just want to get it right? I don't really care, but I want to throw a name out at some point on this show that actually is selected as the next Nebraska head coach. Someone will be the Nebraska head coach, and let's see if we can get it right. So the idea here is we got 4 teams. Honky's going to be on auto draft tonight, and we'll just pick the best available from each of the positions. But Rob and Boomer will go through some sort of snaking draft, and maybe we can have some scoring. Ultimately, to win the league, you obviously want to have the coach who is ultimately selected as the next head coach at the University of Nebraska. But we could have some fun, probably. Boomer, I mean, I don't know. We could probably have a scoring system where, if you a coach gets an extension, they get some points. If they get a conversation with Trev, it's worth even more, that type of stuff.
Yeah, if they're spotted, at a local Hy-Vee or getting internet hooked up here in Lincoln, that should be an instant 50 points. Yeah, there's ways we can go with this. Yeah, that could be a fun system of scores here when we make this up halfway through the whole process. So yeah,
right. I'll be making it up from the beginning. I don't know what you're talking
about. And so my thought is, if there's 4 teams and we have 12 rounds, that's 48 names. If we can't get it right out of 48 names, we don't deserve to have our own podcast. Well, I'll take that back. We're still going to have a podcast even if we don't get it right. But dang it, we should get it right. So my thought here is I've got a master list. I'm sure our listeners right now watching live have their own ideas, and maybe they have other names that they could throw out. We'd be happy to have additional names on this list. But I've got actually two slides here. One, the first one we're looking at is NFL coaches. Thought here is that we would have to at least draft one of these names. And I had to stretch this a little bit to actually get some names up there that I thought were at least somewhat possible, or at least I've heard from some other source. Then we have a larger category of established Power 5 coaches, maybe the most desirable category you can find here. You're going to draft 2 of those names. Then you have new Power 5 coaches, so only been around maybe less than 4 years, another 2 coming off of that list. And then we've got the group of 5 or below coaches. Again, draft 2 out of those 17 names. Then we've got the top assistants category, which has 8 names. And then, our lovely TV analysts, or, hey, where I'm just sitting this one out type category where it's a coach that is currently not a head coach or an assistant. It's either working in TV or an analyst or something of that nature. That makes sense, guys?
Absolutely. And I ran a randomizer too off to the side here while we were doing it. If you would like to hear the order of the draft picks, Dave.
I thought you were good at math, Rob. And here you are running randomizers. I mean, what the heck?
Well, it's just a Google search.
An algorithm?
I typed in our names and hit a button, so it wasn't really difficult to do. Yeah.
All right. All right. So what's
Boomer
the
has
draft order?
Boomer has the first pick. I am with
All
pick
right.
number 2. Dave is pick number 3, and Honky is last, which is funny because I wanted Honky to be last, and the randomizer picked him as last. So that's just the way it goes.
So very random is what you're saying. So,
Very
all right.
well. There's only 4 of us, so odds were in all of our favors.
Excellent. Boomer, is there any chance you could actually keep track of these picks so we can recap at the end of this draft?
Oh, there's always a chance. Yeah, I'm sure we can. So, yep.
Everybody
Come
just
on.
remember your picks. How about
You-
that?
Well,
You,
I mean,
you work in
we could be clever
insurance,
and, say
Boomer.
this on
You're really
video,
good
too,
at
as needed, Dave,
spreadsheets.
so, yeah.
So, all right. So we may not do the entire draft this week. Well, let's get a good start, get several rounds in, and then we can continue this, as we will not have a new head coach until probably around December 1st, plus or minus. That'd be my guess. So, all right.
After we
And
beat Iowa.
let's have some fun with this. Pick a name. If you want to give a justification or have a quick comment, we can do that. And let's see what we can do here. All right, guys, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Entering draft mode. Boomer, you're on the clock. Who is
Do I have to
the
pick from
first?
the NFL coaches block first, or can I pick from anyone?
No, you pick
No.
whoever you want.
Oh, I pick anyone
So
I want.
you've
All
got,
right.
and I can go back between the slides if you want to see all the
Gotcha.
names, but you
So-
just need to have that minimum number from each category.
Gotcha.
But you're building a roster of
likely
12
candidates
total
for head
coaches.
coach. Well, I'm
And
gonna.
you are,
Yep.
and the goal here, Boomer, to remind everyone listening, is to get the coach right. So you're trying to find the most likely candidates that you can find.
Well, I think the easy choice here. Well, not an easy. There's several easy choices, but I think one I want to get off the board right away in case things do go well is Mickey Joseph. He's here. There's gonna be an opportunity for him to make a name. So why don't we get him off the board right away? We'll put him in my slot there. So
All right, Mickey Joseph, first off the board. Way to go, Boomer. Bold choice. I mean, he does have a high percentage because he is here, but he does have to win. Has to prove his case that he deserves that position. And he's got the opportunity over the next 8 games. All right, Rob, you number 2?
Yeah, I'm going to just go in my classic fantasy draft way that I've always done it, is have somebody ready to go, and that's Lance Leipold. I really, really like him. I like him based on the fact that he checks all the boxes of everything that I talked about, that we talked about last week, as far as proven success at basically all levels of Division I football at this point. So I'm really, and even Division III, I think it even goes back as far as that. So as far as I'm concerned, the guy is a proven winner, and he has my heart all the way to the end.
All right, you are fully into the Lance Leipold camp.
Absolutely.
Is it not because I texted the group on Saturday night after I was watching the Kansas game and said that guy's a damn good coach?
I actually no, because we did this. We've been talking about him for a while though, even before after the Northwestern game. I think on the sides we kind of like, well, if this goes sideways, who would you want? And I think his name was one of the first ones that got brought up. And just looking at everything right now, he's the one that I like the most.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And I think, again, from a likelihood, he's definitely going to be on a short list, I think. All right. Am I up next, Rob?
Yes.
This is tricky. I think I've got lots of good options here. I could go with the home run hire of Urban Meyer. I could go with maybe a more likely choice with Bill O'Brien, Matt Rule, or Matt Campbell. I think the most likely of those.
you're on the clock, Dave.
Yeah, I know. Come on, Dave. You follow your own rules, buddy.
You can time me, count me down.
4, 3, 2, 1.
We got listeners here, Dave.
Yeah,
I will go with
podcast.
Matt Campbell.
Okay, that's a great pick. I like him. He would have been my second choice. I do.
All right.
I like him a lot.
And Rob, why don't you break out your auto drafter, and who is Honky's?
Yeah,
Algorithm. What is the
randomizer
algorithm
between
picking Honky?
Urban Meyer.
Oh, I just got a text from Honky. He said Urban Meyer.
All right. He was always
All
a
right,
fan,
Honky
so.
gets Urban Meyer.
All right.
He might win off of that. Wouldn't
Yeah,
that
he
be
might.
fun?
He might.
Be interesting if he did. So all right.
Yeah,
It would be. That's the one name we might hear sooner than later if it actually would come through.
Well, it's guaranteed that he's not coming here, so he's definitely coming here. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And in true draft fashion, I believe this is a snaking order, correct? So Honky would go again.
Honky would go again, and let's see. What do we? We'll give Honky Dave Aranda.
Ooh.
Dave Aranda.
He's been a popular choice among a lot of the fan base, I've noticed, at least online. So.
All right. Now I'm excited because the snaking draft. Now I get the pick from the rest of us here, and I think I just saw someone post that they think Bill O'Brien's the guy. I do think he's a very legitimate candidate here. He did great work at Penn State in those 2 years in very difficult circumstances, far more difficult than ours probably. I'm taking Bill O'Brien.
That's an interesting one. Rob and I were arguing about him beforehand. We weren't really arguing. We were just kind of
discussing.
Yeah, discussing him. It's just he gets a lot of love, but he's just got such a limited resume in college. We weren't sure what to make of that. And it was, like you said, Dave, it was in very weird circumstances. I mean,
it was a short stint. 2 years.
It was a very short stint. Year 2 wasn't super successful, but, you know, I mean, are we in that weird of straits like Penn State was? I don't know.
Well, I mean, the thing is that, I mean, he wasn't even that, I mean, opposed to Urban Meyer's Jacksonville season when we went 2-11, or keep in mind that like Nick Saban went 15-17 as the Dolphins head coach. Bill O'Brien had some winning seasons with the Texans, but he didn't manage the roster very well. But he was coach and GM, right? And maybe that wasn't the right idea. So I feel like, O'Brien with the right staff around him, and he knows the Big Ten lay of the land, could be successful here. And knows the Saban process, right?
Well, that's true, or at least a little bit of it. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Rob.
Well, you know, it's leave it to me to just say let's just go ahead and poach from another program that we just, you know, think that we can just poach from because we're Nebraska and think we can get anybody we want whenever we want. And you know, hey, why not put Greg Schiano on there? I mean, what he's doing over there at Rutgers is absolutely
Greg
I'm impressed.
Schiano.
So, yeah,
a deep cut by Rob.
Yeah, well, he's established, and I got to stick with my.
But he's a New Jersey guy.
Hey man, I know. I'm going to talk to him.
Hey, wasn't Danny Nee though?
I'm going to be like, so Greg, yo, you want to go out and catch a slice? We'll grab a beer, and maybe we can like sit down and talk about the coach in Nebraska. How you feel about that, eh? Like,
he has a vast network of connections there in the New Jersey high school ranks, and why he did so well in New Jersey the first time was that kind of established connections with the New Jersey high school ranks. So I don't know, but sure, Aaron, it's your pick. So
you know what, Dave?
You get Greg Schiano.
It's called fantasy draft. Dave.
Well, again, the goal, Rob, is
I'm already going to win with my pick, so it doesn't matter. The first pick is
okay.
I'm already going to win. So from here on out, it's for shits and giggles.
Boomer.
Oh, gosh. Well, let's try to keep things moving here. People that I think are legitimate possible candidates. This is one I think might get some views. I don't know if he'll come here, but I kind of want to get him on my roster. Kalen DeBoer, that Washington head coach. He's kind of, I think, opened some eyes here, I think, lately, you know, with what he did at Fresno and what he's turned Washington around pretty quickly. I mean, they pretty well pounded Sparty the other day. Yeah.
Good grief.
So I think he'd be a possible option. You know, you could get him away from Washington, I think, and why the heck not? Yeah. So.
All right. Kalen DeBoer. All right. That's a name a little bit off the radar. All right. Boomer.
I get to go again, don't I?
Yeah,
all right. Let's hear it for snake drifts. All right. Gosh, what else do I need here? Yeah, NFL. I'm going to skip for now. Well, let's go with. I don't know if we'll pry him out of there, but how about Luke Fickell out of Cincinnati? He'd be another guy I'd like to see here. I don't know if he'll come here. I think he's holding out for Ohio State, but we might be able to talk him into the Big Ten. So,
all right, Luke Fickell is off the board. All right. We still have a couple number ones. I didn't really work that hard on this ranking, so you don't really need to buy into them. But Matt Rule and Kyle Whittingham still on the board there. And Rob, it's your turn.
I'm gonna, you know what? Prime time. Put him on the board.
There you go.
Yeah, interesting choice. There we go. Yeah.
All right, Neon Dion.
Was I supposed to take this seriously? I'm trying
great
to figure
things
that part out.
hey, you don't want to win. It's fine, man. Arizona State could be something that's going to go after Dion. I could see that.
You know what? He'll end up there. That's actually, and realistically, with no joking around, I really do think that Dion ends up at Arizona State. I think that's the perfect environment for him as far as recruiting goes. Just basically like his lifestyle where he lives. It's going to be the Pac-12, a flashy offense. I think it's perfect fit for Dion.
It would be. It would be a lot of fun. He might just say at Jackson State. I mean, he went there.
Yeah, I mean, the NIL stuff that he's built there is actually really impressive. They're like one of the top 20 NIL schools right now, which is crazy. But I also think Arizona State has just so much more potential, and he would. I mean, when it all is said and done, the guy has an ego the size of Texas, and and I mean, look at the guy like moved teams just to win Super Bowls, and they won Super Bowls when he moved teams. So, I mean, yeah, that's just Arizona State seems like a great fit, and he's going to rule the Pac-12 for years to come with UCLA and USC leaving and.
But you've taken him in this draft, is that right?
I am. Yeah.
All right. Is it my turn, Rob?
Yep.
It is.
Oh my goodness. Well, I am actually trying to win this draft, opposed to Rob. So
I already won it though, Dave. I already got the coach. So
I will take Matt Rule, who I think is a legitimate option as he's 0-2 at Carolina. Did a great rebuilding job at Temple and Baylor. Dave Doran has benefited from some of the roster that he built there. I think he could be a good option. One drawback for Rule that I saw is that when he was at Baylor, he never beat a ranked team. A little concerned about that, I'll be honest with you.
Well, Dave, I'd be happy beating Sun Belt teams at the moment. So
yeah, I was going to say, I'd be happy beating any team at this point.
That's true. But I have heard that a lot of people think that he's a really good talent evaluator. And so it's not just just the star system. He feels like they can make a difference there. So I'll go with Matt Rule. All right, and we're on to Honky now. Who do we got?
All right. Well, Honky is a man of great character. While he is a great character as well. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pick Hugh Freeze for him.
I thought it was a algorithm picking these for him.
Yeah.
Or is that your middle name there?
The algorithm is my middle name. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So who I missed that, Rob. Who'd you give? What?
Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, man of character.
He's not even on the list, is he?
Yes, he was on your list. Look, number 11.
He's there. He's number 11 on the group of 5 coaches.
Get him right below primetime, Deion Sanders.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Excellent. Yeah, Hugh Freeze. Yeah, all right. Well, he wins wherever he goes.
I gone with Craig Bowl myself, but that's...
Yes. Well, he can. He it's a snaking draft. He gets to go again. Yeah. So,
get him next.
Boomer, would you like to take Craig Bowl for Honky here in this round?
Actually, I've got another one for Honky.
Or Jeff Monken, I think would be his other choice.
I do. I've got a whole list for Honky, so don't you worry about it. Like I've already gone through and done this for you guys, so let me do the work for you. All right? Because
I think Craig Bowl's a good option for Honky.
You know what? It might be, but I already have Zach Taylor because you know what? The pure drop back scheme, like, can't wait.
Going to Zach Taylor. All right, so that's Honky's NFL pick.
That's Honky's NFL pick. He can't wait. And it's going to be fantastic.
So let's pause here and recap just a little bit here. So we've got 2 of the NFL coaches off the board, Matt Rule and Zach Taylor. I've got Matt Rule. Honky's got Zach Taylor. Off the established Power 5 coaching list, Matt Campbell has come off the board. Greg Schiano has come off the board.
Yep.
No one else, though. That's very interesting.
No, it's a strange.
This would be the most desirable. Yeah. New power coach list there. Dave Arana has been off the board. Lance Leipold.
You just wait till I start picking again, Dave. All right.
And Kalen Deboer. All off. All right. Group of 5 or below. Luke Fickle has come off the board. Craig Bull. No, Craig Bull's still alive.
No.
Because Redcast Rob vetoed Boomer's choice. Deion Sanders is off the board, and Hugh Freeze is
Yeah, bold choice by Honky, but I guess we'll go with it. Yeah.
Off the top assistants list, Bill O'Brien is off, and with TV analysts, only Urban Meyer, I believe. Is that right?
Correct. Yep.
All right, so Honky gets another pick here.
No, I just did 2 picks for him, didn't I?
Oh,
He
did
got
you?
Zach Taylor. He just picked Zach Taylor.
And who did he take before Zach?
Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze.
Oh, all right. Okay, so I get to go. Excellent.
Yeah, it's your turn, Dave.
All right. This is getting interesting now.
And compelling for our listeners. Yeah.
Yeah, I sure hope so. We're having fun with it. Are we getting any good comments in, Rob?
That's
more.
a great question. I just haven't really been paying attention. I got Prime will go to Auburn, coach against OL at Nick every year. Okay, old Nick every year.
Speak clearly, Rob.
I'm sorry. I'm just reading these out loud. I apologize.
Tell you what, while you read internally, I will take a pick and say Kyle Whittingham. Bit of a long shot, but I would really like that pick. I think he's 62, but if you could pry him away from Utah, I think he's got a lot left in the tank. Been there for a long time. He was actually Urban Meyer's assistant there and took over and has done a lot with a little. It's a physical game. He likes the mobile quarterback. I think Honky would like that. I think he'd be a hell of a selection. So I'm taking Kyle Whittingham.
Cool. Well, it's my pick now. And, one of the things that I noticed in the offseason and even in the season, especially after that Northwestern win, a lot of Big Ten coaches really did not like Frost. And some of them, I think, would love to just be able to come here and stick it to him and just be like, see, dude, it's not that hard. You just suck. I think that's kind of like what they're trying to say. So I'm going to take Pat Fitzgerald.
Now you realize that he did not actually say the quote that was attributed to him.
Hey, look, Dave, just let me live my life, okay?
Yeah,
try to do that.
Somebody will pry him out of Northwestern. Yeah. Man, that's interesting. Yeah. But okay.
All right.
So my pick now, I guess we're up.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I need a couple of established Power 5 coaches. Let's see who's still on the board there. I don't know if he'll get Coach Butthead out of Illinois at Bielema. PJ Fleck would just be PJ Fleck coming here would be entertaining just to see the cognitive dissonance of everyone. I think he's a good coach, but I don't know how the fan base would take him here. But it would be entertaining at least, so there'd be some good podcast material out of it.
Boomer.
If they tire PJ Fleck, I will shave my head and shine it.
Right, like the bowling ball
You
polisher.
can write that down because I will
Yeah.
literally do it. I almost use
The best
he's
way
a good
I've heard,
coach, but I don't know how people would take it. So I'll take an established Power 5 coach. I haven't heard his name come up a lot in conversation, but Dave Doran from NC State, I think, is a dark horse there for me.
That's a good pick.
Yep.
There's a group of Daves down there: Dave Clausen, Dave Doran.
There's a lot of
David
Daves.
Shaw.
Yeah, these are the Daves we know, and I think he's a pretty solid choice. He's done pretty well in NC State. I think he probably plateaued what you can do with that school.
Midwestern guy.
Yep. He's got some Big Ten experience. I think he'd be a decent pick. He's not sexy really, but I think he'd do pretty well here. So
I agree. Good pick. All right, Boomer, you're back again.
That's how handy these snake drafts are. Let's see. Where do I need to pick at? Sitting on a year, I need a TV analyst. I'm surprised this guy doesn't have a gig yet. Give me Tom Herman. I don't know if he's going to come up for this, but I got to pick someone in that category. So give me him. I think he'd be all right too.
I'm surprised I haven't heard more Tom Herman, but maybe it's because he's too close in similarities to Frost.
Could be, but he's had success at schools. I mean, he was fine at Houston. He was good at Texas. It's just they ran him out because I don't know what the reason was, but they just weren't patient enough. And I don't know what their issue is with him, and I'm kind of surprised he just maybe he doesn't want one. Maybe he's happy doing what he's doing at the moment. But I think he'd be a nice pick. So,
agreed. All right, Rob, let's get another crazy pick out there.
Does anyone know what Bill Callahan's up to these days? Oh wait, never mind. I'm just
be the best offensive line coach of all time, Rob. That's all. Not a good head coach.
We can kind of use that though.
Well,
right
what
now.
do I need? What do I need here? I've got established Power 5 coach, right? Do I have 2 of those already in there? You know what? I've got one that's not on the board, and I've actually seen a few people on different message boards and on Twitter like bring them up, and I kind of like the idea only because of the conservative offense that he runs, but a lot of running on the ball, and that would be John Gruden.
Oh dear Lord.
That's great. That's John Gruden. That's the comic value you're brought onto the show to provide, Rob.
I mean, he's not doing anything right now, and you know he's
free.
And I'm pretty sure that Nebraska could limit his email access. So let's go with Gruden.
Yeah. If there's somebody even more toxic than
I'm already gonna win. They're gonna hire Leipold, so it doesn't matter who I pick from here on out. I say that enough.
All right. So is it my turn? Is that right?
Yes.
Let's see here. All right. So I have a top assistant already. I've got my established Power 5 coach in Kyle Whittingham, NFL coach Matt Rule. Decisions here.
Just go with your gut, Dave. Don't put too much thought into it.
You know, I'm going to throw a name out that I don't think will get chosen, but I think actually is a really good coach, and he's proven it multiple times, and that is Blake Anderson, the Utah State coach. I know that's a little bit off the radar. I've not heard his name too often. He was at Arkansas State, and just all he did there was win. And then, had some personal challenges there. He lost his wife to cancer. Wanted to change his scenery, went out to Utah State, wins right away. Like, no questions asked. He is a program builder, and it seems like he can develop kids, play above and beyond their level. Blake Anderson.
All right, interesting choice. Yeah, I haven't seen that come up much, but I like that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, and it's Honky's pick right now, right?
Correct. Yep.
So I'm going down the list, and I'm trying to figure. Yeah, he's got 2, and I'm trying to figure out like he needs like a couple of different categories. So I think like sitting out a year is one category he still needs, right?
Correct.
Well, Honky's all about like Husker power, right? Like Husker power, and he does like the speed aspect of the game. Obviously, in today's game, let's go with Mark Helfrich. Is that how you say it? Helfrich?
Mark Helfrich.
There you go.
You would cause a riot in Mark Helfrich.
Yeah, but whatever. Yeah, that's what he gets for not being on the show.
Yeah,
I mean, I put him and Houston Nutt on there just for the fun of it.
Yeah. Well, I
they're not busy,
he made some good lists.
We all know that Houston Nutt,
and then he has another pick, and because it is Honky, and I just know him so well, like the back of my hand. Him and I spend so much time talking to each other on a daily basis. I'm gonna put PJ Fleck on his list because I know PJ. Because want to know why? Because of what I just said before this, which is that I will shave my head and shine it if PJ Fleck is hired. He doesn't even have to be on my list. So I'm putting PJ Fleck on Honky's list. Because let's be honest, Husker fans are just looking for someone to make them dream again.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Row that, Cornhusker, however it is we want to.
PJ Fleck is off the board. All right. So on our NFL coaches category, Matt Rule, Zach Taylor off. On the Power 5 coaches, Whittingham's gone, Campbell's gone, Fitzgerald, PJ Fleck, Shiano, and Dave Doran is gone. New Power 5 coaches, Aranda, Leipold, Joseph, Kalen Deboer.
I wish you had a way to cross these off as we were doing it on.
Yeah, I know. If I knew how to do that, I would. Off the group of 5, Luke Fickle is gone, Blake Anderson's gone. Deion Sanders is gone. Hugh Freeze is gone.
Yeah, if we hired Hugh Freeze, I don't even know how
I don't know.
would react.
I mean, Then with top assistants, Bill O'Brien has been taken, and I think that's it. Is that right, guys?
Yeah, that's all for the top assistants.
Oh, was
you
Will
guys-
Muschamp taken? I thought you took him.
No one's
No,
touched
Evans
that.
never.
Okay. Evans, no, Dave says.
I struggle to put him on the board. I'm like, I'll just throw him up there because he's been so many places. And then with TV analysts or sitting out, Urban Meyer, Tom Herman, and Mark Helfrich is off. Is that right?
And John Gruden, if you want to count him.
Oh, yeah, and John Gruden, a new name.
John
Thanks,
Gruden is
Rob.
up. Yes, you're welcome.
All right. Is it my turn? Is that right?
Yes.
All right. I have not taken a TV analyst yet. So I'm going to go with Dan Mullen. I don't think he has a strong candidacy. I was a big Mullen advocate early in the last coaching search.
I was
before
too,
it was
Dave.
apparent
Yep.
that Scott Frost was going to be available, and I think he's another. It's amazing how many of these guys are actually have been on Urban Meyer staffs. I mean, Dan Mullen was his OC and quarterback guy at Florida, and then has a proven track record at Mississippi State, a much more difficult place to coach than Nebraska. And he didn't do great at Florida, but I mean, mainly because they don't think he was recruiting well enough. With NIL and a staff around him, I think he could, and he's really good at quarterbacks. I'll take Dan Mullen.
Good pick, Dave. I like that one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Rob, are you up
All
next?
right.
I am up next, and I'm actually
All right.
ready for this pick. Are you
Let's
guys
get it
ready
rolling.
for this pick? Well, because my life is one recurring nightmare, and also because a guy by the name of the Tampon Vampire thinks I should pick him, I'm going to go with Lane Kiffin.
Oh, dear God.
Who else on this list was born in Lincoln, Nebraska?
That's
Hey,
a good point.
I'm telling you, dude, my life is one recurring nightmare. Why wouldn't Lane Kiffin come back to haunt me after Bill Callahan did the same thing? You know,
I'm just
so-
saying.
And I mean,
Lane
if I
Kiffin-
can't take more people with Raiders connections in this draft, I might have to just walk away from what I have already.
But he has Nebraska connections, and who else on this list has that, right? So,
That's
all
fair.
right, Lane Kiffin. You never know.
All right. Well, to keep things moving and to kind of fill my
The
roster out.
tampon vampire wants Kiffin with no strings attached.
That's enough, Rob. Stay on the show.
We apologize to anyone listening to the show tonight. All right.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
I
when
don't
start
know if
picking
he's going to be a serious candidate, but I know his name's popped up enough, and he knows the Big Ten. Give me Jim Leonard, the DC out of Wisconsin. So
Very good, Boomer.
I think it's a
Legitimate
fine
shot.
choice there. Yep.
All right, let's do one more round, guys, and then we'll close up the draft for this show, and then we'll continue.
We'll take it
on,
to, we'll have to take it to
So we'll end with Honky, and then we'll start with
Redcast
Honky
2
next time.
channel, and we'll pick it up there.
Yes, that we'll end with Honky and then start with Honky next time. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I need another pick right away here. Let's see. Gosh. Another group of 5 coach. I need 2 of those. Give me Jamie Chadwell out of Coastal Carolina. I think he's better suited to an SEC program, but he hasn't gotten one yet, which is kind of odd. And he's got a Nebraska connection with prior coach there. Has been kind of pitching him a little bit. I think he'll at least get a look. So, and he seems to have kind of an offense figured out. I don't know if he's too Frost-like. That might put some people off, but I think he's had more years of success at Coastal Carolina that I think could translate here.
His OC is named Willie Korn, right?
Yeah. You got to bring that along. I mean, it's a match made in heaven. So yeah. Well, there we go. That'll end my first day of draft. So.
All right,
Rob. Is that both yours? I'm going to go with Bob Stoops because it'll finally get us over the hump with OU.
It's not the Stoops I would have picked, but I like it. So.
Yeah, it seems like Bob is quite happily retired
that's
or Ramley.
2 TV analysts that I have on there too, right? So,
That's okay because you get 3 flex picks. So
okay.
Now you may not want to blow your other flex picks on
I'm a
analysts,
little
but
worried
hey,
because I just want to make sure because eventually our next graphic needs to show everyone we've picked to this point and then how many picks we have in each area left. So.
Yep. Well, we'll do that. We will do that.
Okay, thank you. I just because
We've got a graphic guy. Rob.
I'm off the wagon, Dave. So you'll have to excuse me. I can't remember.
Well, that's what happens when Honky leaves the show for a while. We get the uncensored Redcast Rock.
I told Boomer that this team literally made me drink again. I started drinking again with you guys at the Georgia Southern game, and I've indulged a little bit since then, and tonight I decided, you know what, I'm gonna throw in a little bit of Wiley Roots from Greeley, Colorado here, and have myself a nice little milkshake IPA.
All right. Well, let's finish this up.
Yeah, let's do it.
We got 2 picks left, and we got, I think, two interesting choices here. I'm debating between the unlikelihood of the established Mike Gundy leaving Oklahoma State, but the stability of the Big Ten could be alluring, and he can't get over the hump there. So why not, especially when Oklahoma is leaving? Or go with Chris Kleiman, who they did lose the last week, but he seems to have K-State on the right track, and obviously he was a winner at North Dakota State. Tough call here. I'm going to go with Chris Kleiman because I think he's just more likely.
Fair analysis. I like it. All right, Rob, what's the algorithm end with hockey stick this week?
Well, I mean, we've already sent one empty plane in his direction once, and maybe this time we can just bring him home. So I'm going to say Houston Nut.
That's why I put him on the list.
I'm a big Nut fan, so yeah, that's fair.
Honky loves nuts.
Oh, God. What a shambles the show's become. All right.
You know what? And we still have 14 people watching, so let's give.
I don't know how
for them.
But, yeah.
That's right.
I think tonight too with the Betcast, which we're going to move on here as soon as Dave makes the call.
I'm making the call, Rob.
Oh, are you making the call? Okay, you guys.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready?
Everybody involved, Dave, make the call.
All right, you ready?
So, all right, we will wrap up the draft for this week. We'll recap this, I'm sure, on social media and other things, and we'll pick it up either next week or some other show. We have plenty of time. Maybe we'll only do 1 or 2 rounds from here on out and build out our rosters and hopefully get the right coach out of one of our 48 selections.
Cool.
All right, let's move on to the Bedcast, Rob.
All right.
The Bedcast Picks of the Week.
All right. Well, it was not a great week for the Go Big Betcast. I will say that it's always challenging to choose your favorite bet. As I think I mentioned in the intro, I had a really nice week of betting. I think I went 8-3. That's, you're up 4 or 5 units. I had a really nice week. But I, for some reason, took BYU at plus 3.5 at Oregon, as did many experts. I mean, on so many of the podcasts and websites, loved BYU at that number. Did not happen. Oregon dominated them, which is pretty surprising. But it did happen. Rob, you almost won that. I'm watching that game.
Oh my God, I would have been so insufferable today if
so Rob has Notre Dame minus 11 versus Cal. They don't look like they're going to cover the entire time. They almost look like they're going to lose. And then they get a scoop and score that they take in, and to go up by 2 touchdowns. It gets called back.
Yeah.
And they do not cover that 11. So Rob has the first loss of the year. Is that right, Rob?
I am 3-1 now. 3-1.
Right. Boomer, I like the bold pick with Mississippi State being favored at Death Valley versus LSU. Did not happen. The Bayou Bengals win 31-16.
Yeah, that was frustrating. Mississippi State had opportunity after opportunity. They didn't cash it in, and then just by that fourth quarter, it then somehow just totally got away from him at that point.
LSU is tough at home all the time.
They are, but I thought Brian Kelly sucks, and I let that get better.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair enough.
Did he dance after the win? That's what I want to know.
Producer Skip got off the snide with a really wise pick, Washington State minus 9.5, first half versus CSU. And they were up 28-0 versus the Rams.
CSU is so bad.
Producer Skip predicting
good
against his team. I took that bet. I mean, I've usually been writing with you guys and taking it. Boomer, I just didn't hear anybody talk about Mississippi State LSU, so I avoided it. And Rob, I just didn't.
Northern Colorado was the only Colorado-based team in Division I football to win this weekend, and it took Northern Colorado an interception in the last minute of the game, up 21-14, to win that game, and against Lamar. out of Texas, and I don't even know where in Texas Lamar is. But
it's down by Houston.
Yeah, I mean, football in Colorado is in shambles right now, regardless of who you root for. It's sad. I don't even think mine's is as good. Is very good.
Well, yeah, obviously, I did take Minnesota to cover versus Colorado.
Well, yeah,
and that was easy. I actually put a second bet down on that one, won 2 of them off of that. I followed with Skip and won this bet. So yes, Colorado. Football is not good right now across the entire state. Although Air Force, I think, will bounce back this week. They are against Nevada, and I think that's minus 24, if I'm not mistaken, Boomer.
Correct.
And I might take that one. I think
Nevada's bad. Yeah,
I was really surprised actually that Wyoming put up the showing against Air Force that they did, because I mean Wyoming was at home, but Wyoming's not a very good team. But Air Force, I still don't understand that game. I even watched some of it, and I'm like, this is not the Wyoming team that passed for like 46 yards in the first game of the season. Like, what's going on here? Like, it was weird.
That's how Wyoming does that. I mean, conference play makes a difference.
Yes.
Altitude. Never forget that day.
Yeah, but Air Force is in Colorado.
Yeah.
In Colorado Springs. They're at altitude.
So I would say it was the Craig Bowl strategy there. He just mucked up that game.
And they're Air Force. They fly planes, for Christ's sake.
I'm just he was able to taking Honky's role here. It's all about altitude.
I'm sorry. Altitude, yes, okay.
Just make it ugly, essentially. And they were successful at it. So anyway, we don't have a Nebraska game to bet at all this week. And I'm not too crazy about the slate, but I'll throw it to Boomer. Do you have anything on your board right now that you're looking at?
Yeah, I'm kind of keeping an eyeball on right now is Minnesota and Michigan State. Right now, you can get that anywhere from about Gophers minus 2.5 to 3, somewhere around there. I don't think Sparty's that good. I mean, they kind of got exposed at Washington there. Their secondary is terrible. They have some very serious issues there. I'm not sure how to read Minnesota. I mean, the 3 teams they played were just god-awful, but they did what a team should do against 3 god-awful teams and beat the crap out of them. I mean, they lost Chris Ottman-Bell for the season, which is unfortunate. He's out for the year with a knee injury, but that seems to be the Gophers' mantra the last few years is they lose 85 players to injury and somehow still win games. I don't know how they do that with a roster of like 109, but somehow they manage to have depth enough to overcome that sort of stuff. So that might be a game I might put a little Gopher action on. They could win that by 3 or 4 points pretty easily, I think, because Sparty might be in a little disarray after a disappointing loss.
Where is that at, Boomer?
I think it's at Michigan State.
It's at Michigan State.
Yeah, so no altitude won't play a big role, Dave. But yeah, that's what I'm going to watch. Maybe
lake level
2.5. I might take the Gophers at that. That way, field goal wins that for you, and you're in pretty good shape.
Well, maybe Minnesota will be staying at the hotel or motel that Honky booked when you guys made your trip to Michigan.
Well, that was condemned by the EPA and several international organizations, Dave.
I think the military uses it for like exercises in like third world countries.
Yeah, and
all right, Rob, what's on your board, man? Rob, what do you got?
The one that's really sticking out to me right now, Dave, and I can't figure out why it's low in my opinion, is Maryland at Michigan. Both teams are 3-0. All right. They're moving into Big Ten play here. And Michigan is only a 16.5 point favorite. And I mean, I've watched Maryland play. I mean, they're a Big Ten team. They're somewhat, I guess, exciting to watch a little bit, but Michigan is like they're number 4 in the country right now. It's only 16.5 point, spread at this point. So
if you want to get it, now's the time to get it under 17.
Because I feel like it's probably going to move up to closer to like 21 or 22 by Saturday.
It won't get that big.
You don't think so?
No, it'll move above 17. It started at 15.5. If it was going to move that much, it already would have moved.
Well, I just feel like, it's only Tuesday, and I kind of feel like last week, for example, we saw a couple of lines that moved quite a bit, and I mean, you get it this low, everyone starts putting money on it. They're going to want to move it up high enough where people might start betting Maryland not to, to at least cover, right? So, I mean, that's an interesting one to me. I don't know. I mean,
I would, if I was going to bet that game, I would probably look at the over because
the over is 65.5.
Finally,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I've already made a bet on I think a lock of the week. I don't know where the number's going to be on Thursday, but I got UCLA to cover 20.5 versus Colorado.
Oh.
I was like,
is that a
less
first
than
half
3
cover?
touchdowns
Is that a first half
versus
cover?
yeah, I think Chip Kelly will be able to score plenty versus Colorado. Colorado's offense.
I can't wait to see the letter CU's AD writes after that loss.
Punch its way out of
they're
a
not
bag.
Good, Colorado. Yeah, they've got some problems.
Yeah. So I got that one. One that's been interesting and been moving around a little bit is Florida Tennessee, and this is one that I saw, and I was like, it's I think it opened up around 9.5. It's gone up to 11, and it's back down to 10, I think, right now. Boy, I don't know, Boomer. I mean, that's
I'm not sure what to make of that here. Florida's struggled the last couple of weeks, and I don't know if I'm ready to commit anything to that one yet. So I'll keep an eye on it though.
Is that the cocktail party one, or is that
I'm intrigued with is Iowa Rutgers, just for that over under. I think it's like a Power 5 record.
35 or
34.5.
Oh, it was 34.5 at one point. It's up to 35 at the moment. But yeah, that's good Lord, that's setting offenses back a couple centuries at this point before they even allowed touchdowns. But
is that a Power 5 record for how long?
It was earlier. Yeah, I saw that.
According to producer Skip, it was.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's a pretty low total. I mean, but that's the kind of game you could see ending like 17-14 or something like that. Might well be under that. I'm not ready to commit to it yet, but yeah, it'll be one I'm watching.
What about Indiana going to Cincinnati?
Oh God, Cincinnati's gonna boat race.
I don't know what to make of Indiana yet, so I don't trust Indiana. I never have. They're like Purdue in my book. I don't trust them ever.
It's 17 right now.
16.5 is on some. I'm seeing 16.5 right now. Yeah,
but it opened at 15.5.
Yeah,
on Sunday.
God.
I don't think I would get too deep into that one. Yeah, I don't know what to make of Indiana.
What about Utah going to the Valley of the Sun, taking on Arizona State minus Herm Edwards? You can get them at 14.5 right now.
Well, if we know anything about teams rallying around their new coach, their interim coaches going into a big game against a ranked opponent, I would have to say that you should probably take Utah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yep. That would have been my choice.
I'm going to say Utah wins that one by like 35.
Yeah. I think you're right.
That might be a good choice this week for listeners. Yeah.
By the way, I would just like to say that joke was more along the lines of a Boomer joke than a Redcast Rob joke, but I just had to get it in there.
No, it's perfectly fair. I was going to take it if you weren't, but yep.
How about
they threw that over the plate, kind of a low-hanging slider, so whoever wanted to swing at it, it was theirs. So,
man, I'd
still. All right, a couple more and let's get out of here.
Yeah,
a couple more and let's get out of here. Kansas versus Duke. Lance Leipold has the Jayhawks 7.5-point favorites. This is the first time they are a favorite against a Power 5 team since 2009, I believe.
That is an insane stat, Dave, when you think about it.
Yes.
2009. I mean, that's a long time.
So Kansas has this weird way of beating a team. I don't know. I like Kansas in this game. I just do. They're at home, right? It's Duke at
They're
Kansas.
at home.
Yeah, it's at Lawrence, and that's an intimidating place to play.
I'm taking Kansas against Duke all the way. I think they'll win by at least 3 baskets. Oh wait,
well,
are we talking
3-pointers? That's fine. Duke has Mike Elko, who somehow has got that team to be 3-0. I don't even have. I mean, he might be a rising coach before you know it.
Yeah.
And then another one that I think will be interesting just from that coaching search perspective, Baylor and Dave Aranda coming into Iowa State in Ames, and Matt Campbell, Cyclones favored by 3.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that one too. I don't know I haven't watched Baylor at all this year, so I don't know how they're playing or what they're doing.
Well, they're 17th in the country right now.
Yeah, so that'll be a good one, like you said, Dave. I don't know if I trust Iowa State yet enough to win that.
I mean, it's weird because Iowa State's win over Iowa, to me, Like I always
speaks more to
I've always
Iowa
pictured
than
like
it does
while
Iowa
Iowa State
State.
like plays
Yeah.
like tough defense, and they've kind of run heavy right now, right? Like I've always pictured them this like high up tempo offense, like from the past or whatever. But Baylor is kind of that team right now, and I feel like if they can get loose at all against Iowa State, like it could be another one where I think Baylor, like, you know, I mean it's only a 3. Iowa State's favored by 3, but
Yep,
I feel
sure.
like I would just take Baylor all the way, you know, money line of whatever. Like
All right, taking the Bears. All right,
Yeah.
that's interesting. All right, you know what? 2 more just fun ones out there. K-State versus Oklahoma. Adrian Martinez gets his crack at Oklahoma. He's in Norman again. 13. The Sooners are favored by 13.
Yeah,
that's actually under a key number there.
That's an easily Oklahoma. Yeah, they're gonna kill them. Oklahoma's gonna be I think they're gonna be in the championship game this year. I do. They look
I
so
think
good.
that game will be a good test to see what Mickey Joseph wanted to do in the second half, like slow down the
K-State
game,
will
try to
do
get
it.
more possessions, because I think that's what K-State will play. So that'll be a good kind of, you know, experiment to see if that would have made any difference. So,
yep, that's fair. That's fair. And then maybe one of the worst games of all time. Hawaii is at New Mexico State.
yeah, sweet mercy. That just sounds awful.
Oh my!
The worst game.
Hey, Dave, I am almost 50 years old. Do you think I'm going to stay up that late to watch a football game?
Well, I know I am, but I mean,
I can
doesn't
barely
mean I want
stay
to,
up to
but
watch.
I'm going to.
I can barely
6
stay up to watch
o'clock.
my Roos.
It's on Flow Sports, though, whatever that is. I don't know.
But I'll be done with my Blue
Sports,
Plate
it's that
special by
thing.
then.
I mean,
all right, so it's, you know.
All right,
Jeez,
guys. We'll have our best bets out as usual on I think Friday morning usually. Hopefully we'll hit more than what we did last week. Good to see producer Skip get off and finally get a win there. Maybe we can get a 4-0 week here coming up. All right, guys, let's get out of here with some parting shots, and we'll start with Redcast Rob.
Well, I would just like to say thanks to all of you that are still here watching us, because quite frankly, I would have turned it off like an hour ago. So you know what? More power to you.
Rob, don't say that.
We really do appreciate you fans. Without you, there is no us. Let's just leave it at that. I would also like to point out that you can currently get 2 tickets on StubHub to the Kansas Duke matchup right now for $33 a piece.
That's actually pricey compared to what was it last year, Boomer?
I'm going to the Rutgers game against Nebraska in New Jersey here in a couple of weeks. I got my tickets today. They were $80 a piece. And the only reason that they were so high was because it's Parents Weekend. So the stadium's actually filling up. But I still got my tickets are still section, I think 128, row 31 on the 40-yard line. So I'm like,
well, just for reference, when Kansas was upsetting Texas last year, if I remember right, Boomer, is that right? Or was it the Oklahoma game they almost won? They actually at halftime sent out like an all-points bulletin, like just come to the stadium. It's free. Yeah. Just come in here. We're actually competitive.
Well, it's like going to a Northern Colorado football game.
I paid $5 for Kansas Iowa State tickets one time, and that was at the window. So just because I wanted to watch a game there, just for fun. Yeah. So
that's great.
Well, I mean, it's like going to a Northern Colorado game, though, Boomer. It's like by the second quarter, they're just leaving the gates open and you can walk right in. So
yeah, it's like Husker baseball back in the day. Yeah.
Yep. All right, Boomer, your parting shot.
Well, I don't have a whole lot to go off of here. I'm not going to pull a honky over under 3.5 parting shots. It's just one thing that Mickey Joseph said in his press conference this day is when it comes to business decisions, don't make them emotionally, and that's a good approach to whether it's the Bedcast. Don't make an emotional, decision there. And same thing when it comes to who you want to be the head coach of the Huskers or what you want to see going forward. Don't let emotions get in your way. I mean, we can do that as fans. It's kind of fun, but don't tie yourself too tightly to one particular person or one particular guy just because he makes you feel a certain emotion. Just let's make the smart decision as a program and a fan base, and hopefully I can see some improvement here in the near future. So,
yeah, just got to win, right?
That would help.
Why did that sound like a wake?
Well, it kind of has been lately, yeah. So, yeah.
My Lord.
All right, guys, good stuff. Appreciate doing the show on another rough week, and hopefully we'll have Honky back here
I have
before you
one
know
more
it,
shout out though, Dave, before you say
go ahead,
goodnight.
man.
I do want to give a shout out to your wife, Katie, for making this show happen tonight, because if it wasn't for her bringing up to you that, like, are we even having a show this week? I heard you weren't. We wouldn't have even made this possible. So Katie, this is 2 weeks in a row. You get a shout out. Thank you for bringing it up to Dave, because once Dave brought it up to the rest of us, I started putting in the work. So thanks, Katie.
That's right. That's
So
right.
forward all
All right.
complaints about this show to her, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes, please.
All right, guys, that's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's get out of here and call that a Go Big Redcast.
Go Big Red.
A Huda Media Production.